Hello again, here today in the Tier 8 Japanese carrier Shokaku. We're doing something a bit different, back from my hiatus. We're doing some ranked sprint in the Shokaku. So we're against a Lexington who's dipped with North Carolina, annoying little shit. Sorry, mind my tongue, sorry. And then a Gascon, Baltimore, Atago, Kutuzov, a lot of cruisers, some pretty heavy AA ships here, and a heavy AA destroyer, so this should be quite a challenge. In the meantime, loading up. I am going to nevertheless scout with my rocket planes because that is their role, and I'm going to begin moving north. This is shards, however, so keep in mind this is a very claustrophobic map. Battleships can shoot across the map at the beginning of the game, especially when they have allied spotting from the Lexington, so I do need to be a bit careful about my pathing. Perhaps take a more conservative route, like so, give it a slight bit of angle. So you'll note both carriers mirror each other, so he did use some of his speed boost. I have a Cossack, he has a Kid. One has the advantage of having British smokes, the other has the advantage of being a better anti-aircraft destroyer. Now with mirrored spawns, he should spawn on this side. Somewhat surprised he didn't drop a fighter, but perhaps he's going for a cap. Nope, he's here. So the Kid is annoying. It's a Fletcher with access to it's a Fletcher at tier 8, which sacrifices one of his torpedo tubes for more quad wolfers. There's the defensive fire from someone, not sure who. He's gonna launch anyway though, because damage is damage. He does also have a heal, which is exceptionally annoying. Not gonna be able to get these out, so I'm gonna get what information I can and delay the cap as long as possible. So we know that Kutuzov is gonna make a run for A. I'm gonna change my path, take as aggressive of a position as possible. My Cossack enters into the cap. You have to be... So he does need to be careful of the Baltimore. Kutuzov just smokes up and starts farming because he's a Kutuzov. I thought he would go all the way to A though, which is so... I would classify his decision as interesting. Gonna dive with 8. So we spotted an Atago. And there is our Kid. Gonna pop my heal. I am gonna be flying over the AA for quite an extended period. Looks like it was the Kid who popped his defensive fire earlier. Gonna make a pass. He's slowing down, so keep note of his position. And let him have it. I can see the Cossack shells also hitting him right now, so that's going to help me guide the torpedoes in. And I do hit him with 2 torpedoes, essentially crippling him. Now, it was a pretty expensive drop, but hitting a destroyer twice is very much worth it. Just communicating with my team that we just shit on the Kid's life. Not necessarily about the shit on the Kid's life part, but more that he's quite low. Going to pre-drop. Don't want to commit too many ships. And now we're going to hit the Gascon. Now the Gascon has the problem of being French. And French ships are annoying because they are fairly citadel resistant, so perhaps we ought to move away. Oh, I should actually just take the cap, it looks like. Looks like no one else on my team is going to do it, so. We are going to look for the Baltimore, maybe. He's moving away, so I'm going to slingshot him at 8 kilometers with boost. Now my planes returning are exposed to the Kutuzov's long range, but that's fine. The goal is to finish off this Baltimore, who's now quite low. Oh, was not able to punch through the AA. Well, in that case, I'm gonna go after Kutuzov, Kid. The Kid probably left. Although there's a Martel kind of beside him, which is interesting to say the least. Maybe, I think I will actually harass the Atago in this position. Gonna start the launch. He knows I'm coming, but he's busy angling against other people. Now if he just turns out all the way, as he naturally should be doing anyway to dodge, these are gonna miss. But if he does nothing, as he appears to be opting to do for some reason, then he's gonna take these, which would be an odd choice given that losing your steering in a situation like this is crippling. The kid does manage to kill my Cossack somehow, which is annoying. So 3 fighters on the patrol fighter for the Atago. I broke his steering last time, so this fighter does lock. I've anticipated the turn, however, and I should nail him with 1 torpedo at the very least. I'm looking for a flooding or a broken something. A broken anything, really. Broken engine would be really helpful. Gonna have to start my drop out here because of the close proximity. Gonna use my air brake to slow him down as long as possible. Whoa, okay, I need to kill him right now. And I do break his engine and steering, which means he should be dead in the water. I'm gonna correct my course. He has no fighter. I did clip a flak puff there. But dead in the water, Atago should be a free meal. As you can see, pretty damning damage. Looks like he got his damage control back, but he's slowed down so much that I can just take my time, holding down on the air brake. He's nice and straight for me. Make sure I get a nice clean drop, and he dies. Easy does it. Now obviously I'm heading for the North Carolina, nice isolated target. Not the best AA, but you do what you have to do. Gonna defend my turrets on the way, because he's obviously getting harassed. We'll prevent that second drop at the very least. Dropped my fighter a bit late, so it's not gonna arm very well. Note that I'm on the border of a fighter screen. My Mogami dies. I should probably reverse. My drop's already armed. No need to make sudden course corrections. Oh, I have my heal back. So he's turning in, so I'm gonna respond. He's gonna dodge that first set. He does take a torpedo on the nose though, because he's not quite maneuverable enough, unlike his South Dakota cousins, the Massachusetts and Alabama. He's a bit stiffer on the turn. Okay, that was some enormous ping there. You saw the drop reticle not match up. Gonna full reverse here in case. Gonna launch the armor-piercing dive bomber. This game's gonna be a close one, but my key does kill the Kutuzov, which means he's gonna take A, which is obviously quite good. Now my turrets gets reset, however he does get blasted out of the water by the turrets. Looks like he's gonna continue turning in, so I'm gonna anticipate the turn, correct the turn with my APTBs, and then send them in. Got a defended ribbon. Not going to be a great angle, but I'm going to continue to try and farm the defended ribbons for as long as I can, just to delay the cap, even though this angle is obviously not a great approach angle. All I want is for these bombs to hit him or straddle him. And we do get a defended ribbon. That's what I'm after. Now it's carrier on carrier, battleship on battleship, carrier on battleship violence. Where both of us are pretty low, however, so... Oh, I don't have that many torpedo bombers left. I have a lot of rocket planes, I guess. Looking for a flood, then. Whoa, holding down on the air brake. So I did not get the right angle, so immediately recall. Hide right here. As long as my key keeps holding out, we're up on caps, so I don't have to do too much. I'll kill him eventually, I just need to wait for my torpedo bomber squadrons to replenish themselves. Just looking to set some fires here. And there's a fire. Nice. So I'm spotted, but I'm gonna duck into cover, I hope. Since I'm manualing it anyway. Slide forward. There's a fighter in front of him, I think. Not actually sure though. He's healing. It's fine. He'll heal up to about 22,000. Lagging. Very scary considering the range at which my planes are at. Okay, so I was forced to drop in advance. Am I still lagging? I can't even tell. Whoa, alright carrier there. So my lag is gonna be very annoying here. Okay, I don't know what my carrier is doing exactly. Defending itself, I suppose? Not actually sure. I am in a difficult spot now, though. As you can see. So I'm dead to those dive bombers, 100%. So I'm gonna take the heaviest armament I have, which is torpedo bombers. Gonna hold off on my heal for as long as possible. And we should trade carrier for battleship, which means that we should win on cap points. As long as, well, he's not too low. So I'm not going to be able to get into full range here, but note my torpedo range is actually 4 kilometers. So I'm just going to drop at 4 kilometers. Hard to say if it's going to connect, but we'll see. Did not have a fighter to drop for him, unfortunately. And you saw there some of the ping issues I had, leading to some difficulties playing in a very sensitive class such as the carriers. So, okay, I failed to connect the torpedo, but I have a fairly healthy key. Some people demonstrating why. Some people just don't have the right mentality. The goal should be to win. I don't care about your base experience. I just want you to guarantee me a victory. We did some work this game, but probably could have done a lot better. Now, as I said, I was instructing my key to turn away from the Lexington. We know at this point that he's going to take C, but we're up so many points, the only way you can lose is if he dies. And so you want him to turn away to increase the amount of time it takes for the Lexington to fly planes to him. If he charges towards him, there's actually a potential that, depending on his plane reserves, he could still kill the key. Respectable amount of Lexington dive bombers left, so that's going to get 1 drop in. So imagine he used his damage control into flooding, let's say, because he did take a hit there. And imagine this gets a double or triple fire for some reason. Then there is a potential that this Lexington could kill him. especially if he'd kept going this way and he was here, then the sortie time would be quite short actually for Lexington. As I said, the 6-plane squadron of Lexington does have enough planes to squeeze through a drop. Looks like a 2-plane drop. He lost a plane on the way. Oh no, it's still 3. So he got a bare minimum drop, and the fire is ticking, but the caps are going to tick out before he can make his next sortie. So thankfully, after the work we put in, we're going to get a nice clean victory. Bit of a weird game, but at least I got to show off the very efficient play of crippling a Atago with torpedoes, breaking his engine, and then breaking his back with the AP dive bombers. Come on now, give me my star. So I did lose a star. Previous game I made some mistakes. You didn't get to see that, unfortunately, but let's just say I got even closer than I got this game, and met some enemies face to face. A secondary spec Bismarck, perhaps. So 93,000 damage, 10 torpedo hits, 9 dive bomb hits, 13 hull kills, 3 incaps, 2 kills, 1 fire, 2 floods, 4 citadels, 4 defender ribbons, 1 capture, 9 spotting ribbons, 28 rocket hits, and 8 planes interdicted by fighter. Team score wise, top of the scoreboard, 2,600. Nice clean game, if I do say so myself. Now, most of our damage did come from the Atago we crippled, but also a good amount of damage on the kid. If you remember, we crippled him at the beginning of the match by hitting him with 2 torpedoes. Looks like they ended up doing 8.6 thousand, sorry. So that's the first torpedo hitting him for full damage and the second one hitting him for about half because of saturation. Damage distribution-wise, mostly torpedoes and bombs. Bias on torpedoes, the Shokaku is, of course, as I've mentioned many times, a torpedo-focused carrier. And yeah, there you have it. Nice, clean rank 3 game. Carriers are exceptionally strong, so if you are a experienced enough carrier player, and you're not afraid of dealing with 4 or more American battleships at once, I do highly recommend the any of the Tier 8 carriers, but in particular Shokaku and Enterprise, if you have access to Enterprise. Failing that, I would suggest Lexington, and then maybe Kaga or Saipan if you know what you're doing. I did dabble a bit in Saipan, but it is quite delicate due to her low plane reserves. Captain-wise, I'm using my modified Shokaku captain. This is a pretty specialized captain. I am taking side stabilization on this captain, which you don't need at all. This is a more of an experimental build in the case they ever fix this skill and make it not awful. The alternative to running this Saipan build is, of course, my Hakuryu captain, which is a tad different. So you have the core 9 skills: air supremacy, torpedo acceleration, aircraft armor, survivability expert, and then you go take concealment expert, but it's not that important to take that. You can take that later. Instead, I'd opt for these 9, then take plane speed, go back for last gasp, then for engine boost, then for an extra fighter on your patrol squadrons and your self-defense fighter, then concealment expert, and then you drop it off with priority target, which is kind of semi-useless, but not the worst. But yeah, that was a ranked sprint Shokaku game. Just to kick things off back from a hiatus, climbing through ranked at a nice even pace. You tend not to lose your star at the very least when you lose, unless you make a huge error. And that was Shokaku ranked sprint. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.